When Tom Welsh began work on the book Strauss's, Youngstown's Dependable Store, he had little idea that it would be the first of 3 books he'd write for Arcadia Publishing and the History Press on the storied past of Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley.
I was always a frustrated historian, and my interest in history really came out of family oral tradition. You know, the family, branch of the family have lived in Youngstown since about 1870, as early as 1870. So there was a lot of stories about the city. Because of this oral tradition, I had a sense of how dynamic this community had been before I came along.
In 2014, the History Press released Tom's second book, The Classic Restaurants of Youngstown, co-authored with Gordon Morgan.
But what's been especially touching has been the joy that these books have brought to so many people who had a first-hand experience of either Strauss's department store or the scores of restaurants in classic restaurants of Youngstown. If you want to know about local history, write a book about it, and then people will tell you.
Local history is the business of Arcadia Publishing and the History Press, the largest publisher of local and regional titles in the world. Since 2003, they've been publishing titles about the history of the Mahoning Valley.
People are nice and they're interesting.
Author and Metro Monthly publisher Mark Pico edited one of the earliest books, Remembering Youngstown.
Youngstown gets into people's blood, and even if they move away, and if they moved away for reasons that were either economic or they didn't want to live here, they still have a connection to here. And there are a lot of people that will buy the books. There's always been an audience and an appetite for local history. This area has always had an interest in its own history, and it's always been that way.
Phil Kidd, Associate Director of Cityscape and former proprietor of Youngstown Nation, has witnessed that intense interest firsthand as a local vendor.
But it seems like within the last 5, 7 or more years, we've now seen this emergence with the Arcadia books, which I think are fantastic because while some provide a general overview, most seem to provide a specific section and tell specific stories about certain things in the history of Youngstown.
There are 20 different Arcadia and History Press books available on Mahoning Valley history. They can be purchased locally at Boardman Barnes & Noble Booksellers Outlet in Boardman and at Books A Million in the Eastwood Mall. They can also be found at Fellows Riverside Gardens, the Butler Institute of American Art, Flutterby Books in Hubbard, and the Tyler History Center.
These books are great in that they really open up a lot of collections that normally people wouldn't look at. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You can look at these images in the books and really see something and in your own mind compare it to how the area or the person looks today, and it really helps people to understand and appreciate more of our history, but also to be more interested in the various images that we have in our collection and other local repositories have.
But Kidd says it's not just nostalgia and the memories of yesteryear that have driven people to pick up these books. Younger readers are buying Arcadia books from him at the local Youngstown Flea in order to get more familiar with local history.
Actually, what's also kind of interesting and inspiring is that I see there's a lot of younger people that are buying these books because they're becoming interested in Youngstown in general again because of some of the revitalization. But they don't have obviously they don't have the institutional memory of a lot of things in this community. So they're reading these books as an interesting way to learn about history in a deep way in certain areas.
I think we had a rich history that was largely untapped. And History Press created an opportunity for people to do that. But I think it also became, in a sense, okay to talk about history. In the past, I think there was a tendency to confuse history with nostalgia. History is really more inclusive. There's more of an opportunity for people to appreciate that and to make it part of their collective identity as a community.
Pico also says the Arcadia and History books are a useful tool for highlighting the importance of local history and the often overlooked stories of underrepresented communities.
Local history helps people understand where they are today because there are a series of things that happen that give you the society that you live in. And I think a lot of local history, a lot of worker history and things like that, a lot of people from certain ethnic backgrounds or from blue collar or working class backgrounds don't think that their history is important. And I think having that represented in books really gets people to understand that everyone's history is important.